The story starts with us returning to the Express and discussing the fallout of the Full Wish situation with March 7th. We witnessed a news broadcast that explained the details of the Full Wish situation by placing the Joy Ascendant squarely on her. While the lack of accountability in how quickly the news station cut ties with Full Wish is irritating, the Trailblazer opted to get some rest instead of worrying about them or the Phantasm games. The Trailblazer awakes and is greeted by Himiko, and we learn that Yao Guang wanted to speak with us before our journey into the world of Canvas. She remarks that Ouroboros, the Veracity, was sealed away, and that Blade is on his way to dispose of Shuhu's flesh. After spending some time with the Express crew, the Trailblazer sets off to the world in Canvas. The Express crew go their separate ways, with March going with Ashvale to investigate Asat Pramod. But before that, Ashvale had met with Blade to say goodbye to him, as there was no guarantee that Blade would survive throwing himself into the Veracity. Ashvale and March investigate the Fool's Tavern, and learn about a fool named Enroute, who somehow defeated the Veracity. They also learn that Enroute believed Elation was dead, and left the tavern to seek the world's end. From hearing these bizarre stories, Ashvale surmised Enroute was connected to Asat Pramod. Ashvale and March are then contacted by Ron May and Ting Yun, and Ron May tells the two about the origin of the Phantasm games. Aha had defeated and sealed Ouroboros' body among the stars, and used the power of abundance to suppress it. Not only that, but Aha would siphon the power of the Veracity under the guise of a game. Ron May speculates that Aha even went so far as to steal the concept of aftertaste from the Veracity as well. After pooling their knowledge about how Asat Pramod knew of the Veracity and how the Express Navigator IC once carried a relic of Ouroboros, Ashvale and March came to a disturbing conclusion. Enroute and IC could be the same person. Their deductions were cut short as a mysterious voice made their presence known. With the Trailblazer, they travel to Inkford Hermitage with Nihilux in tow. While at the Hermitage, we begin our search for Graphia, but we quickly run out of reliable leads. It is then Nihilux suggests that we speak with Casper, the ghost Imagine, and ask for Graphia's whereabouts. After a brief game, Casper recalls their time with Graphia and tells you how to summon her. The Trailblazer heads to the statues, and after Nihilux's shenanigans, a woman claiming to be Graphia appears before them. Graphia tells the Trailblazer a story on why she sealed Ahatopia in Canvas. It was all to prevent the Lord Ravager from reaching Leviathan's remains. She also tells us that the Astral Express crash-landed on Ahatopia, and its importance to the Murata name and family. She gives us the instructions on how to reach the world in Canvas. Meanwhile, Silverwolf and Blade were also at Inkford Hermitage, looking for a way into the world of Canvas. Blade was determined to meet his fate at the hands of the Veracity, and Silverwolf vehemently wanted to find another way. When no other options presented itself, she opens up to Blade about how she felt about him, and how she views him as family, and that they should say a proper goodbye. The Trailblazer arrives and meets up with the Stellaron Hunters, and summons the ferry to the world of Canvas. Graphia appears once more, and grants them passage using Blade's experiences as fare for the voyage. The group arrives at the fragment of the Veracity, and before he jumps, Blade tells Silverwolf about the gifts he left behind for the Stellaron Hunters. He also tells the Trailblazer to never deny the path they've traveled.
Let everything end, or truly begin.
After jumping and being on the precipice of life and death, Blade meets a simulacrum of his former master, Huaiyan. He wanted to see for himself if Blade's craftsmanship had grown rusty. Blade walks through each of his works, from his childhood steps to his adulthood masterworks. Even the man he had become was yet another piece of his craftsmanship, as even though he forged no more, he became the blade the Stellaron hunters needed. After witnessing Blade's past and present, Huaiyan offered words of encouragement and brought out a piece of scrap from Blade's shard sword. He tells him that a craftsman must reforge the useless into something new, and that should even apply to life itself. Before Blade could comprehend his master's words, Shuhu, taking on the visage of Yingxing, appears and taunts him. He declares that he'll never disappear, and that he'll make sure Blade continues to suffer for over 1,000 years in the Veracity's maw. Blade rebukes Shuhu's taunts, and states he plans on crafting a prison that not even Shuhu could escape. The scene switches to Himiko's POV, who is discussing Ryusuke with Pearl. Pearl suspected Ryusuke was connected to Asat Pramod, intentionally or unintentionally as a pawn, and warned Himiko to be careful. Himiko contacts her father and invites him to the Express to have a proper chat. After giving him a tour, they return to Graphia Academy to put the Bloodstained Games to rest. They return to the scene of the massacre by the Herald of Death, and were able to help the souls of the dead find peace and fade away. Ryusuke later tells Himiko that he has something important to talk about with her, and after performing other tasks, he comes clean and tells her that he had been struck with the Weathering Curse as well. He claims he was struck by it while investigating the demons from beyond, and in exchange for him telling Himiko this, he wanted Himiko to tell him the truth of the Bloodstained Games and how she survived. Himiko told the story of her survival, how she chased the Herald of Death to Dovebrook, and how she stumbled across the bodies of other supplicants along the way. However, there was another voice speaking to her the entire time, and just as she confronted the Herald of Death and was about to tell the tale of his defeat, Ryusuke interjected, stating that there's no way Himiko, weak and frail as she was, would be able to defeat the Herald of Death. There had to be someone else, an imaginated version of her, who was by her side during that confrontation. Ryusuke accused Himiko standing before him as a fake, and that the real Himiko never left Planet Arcadia. Himiko throws the accusations back at him, stating Ryusuke to be Planet Arcadia's biggest trouble. With the Trailblazer, after speaking with Graphia, we quickly realize the stories don't add up regarding to how we met her. It is then Asat Pramod appears, revealing he had disguised himself as Graphia at the statues. He sheds light on Graphia and the Weathering Curse. The curse is a punishment for those who betray destruction, and thanks to this, Graphia and her descendants suffer from the curse. However, the Lord's Ravager did not come to Planet Arcadia for Graphia. He instead came for Himiko. Asat Pramod uses his powers to cause Graphia to go berserk, and she attacks the Trailblazer and Silver Wolf. As all hope seemed lost, and their options thinned, Blade re-emerged from the Veracity's maw, reforged anew, and together with the others, defeat and subdue Graphia. Graphia's weakened state had also caused the seal on the Veracity to weaken as well, and she alerts the Trailblazer that Asat Pramod's powers are vast, and he could be in multiple places at once. Himiko reveals Asat Pramod's facade as Ryusuke, as he states that the real Himiko is long dead, and that the current woman in front of him is just an imagine, an idealized copy of the woman she wanted to be. Himiko and Asat Pramod trade blows, and at the same time, Ashvale has been unable to stop the Lord Ravager. With Welt and Danheng, they were ambushed by Asat Pramod, and barely escaped with the help of Yao Guang. All over the Arcadia, the Lord Ravager makes his move to drown the land in destruction. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later.